station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
Diamonds in the sunset, now your time has come. A pretty yellow bird fly away.
All right, 6 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this nice-looking Monday morning, although I do see a very dark cloud coming our way. I don't know, maybe we got some more rain coming. Dr. Joan A. Friedman is on the phone. It says here that she is a twin. And she is the mother of twins. And she is a psychotherapist specializing in twin issues. She's written a book. It's called The Same But Different, How Twins Can Live, Love, and Learn to Be Individuals. And I've always wondered about this because as a dad, I never was the father of any twins, but as a dad, I would always look at people who had twins, and they would dress the same.
Yeah.
It's always cute to see the two little children dressed exactly the same. And then if they have three children and one of them is not a twin, he or she is not dressed the same. You always feel like, I wonder if one feels left out. Or I wonder if one of the twins feels like, at a certain age, okay, I'm 13. Can we stop dressing the same?
Yeah.
Or do they embrace it? And I don't know. I don't know. So Dr. Friedman knows, and she's going to help us understand this. And if you have any twins or you are a twin, you're probably paying special attention right now. Dr. Joan Friedman, thank you for being on the air show with us. Good morning, doctor.
Well, good morning, and I hope some of the rain could come our way, please.
Where are you?
Redirect the cloud over here to Los Angeles.
Oh, you're in L.A. Yeah, you guys are really needing some rain right now. Yeah,
that's right.
I know the whole country's getting a weird weather thing going on.
I know. But anyway, getting back to our main subject, which is twins and not the weather. Thank you for having me. And yes, your introduction is very well spoken because siblings of twins are often very left out, but nobody likes to talk about that because everyone loves to talk about, except for me, about how wonderful twins are. And one of the reasons I wrote this book is to try to give voice to all of us twins out there who have had issues or some problems being twins. I mean, I think the public likes to think as twins as kind of saints. Like, remember just a few weeks ago, those twins in the biathlon that one gave up her spot for the other? I mean, it's the feel-good story of the Olympics, and everyone goes, oh my God, it's so amazing. Look how those twins love each other. And you know what? Many twins do, but there's a lot of twins that are maybe not best friends and not soulmates and don't have ESP, and they don't have a voice. So I'm the voice. I'm the one that's written this book so that if you don't get along with your twin, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you and you're not a bad person. It just means that sometimes twins don't get along, and that's not a thing.
So let me ask you this. Let's say we're speaking right now to the parent of newborn twins, and the mommy. The mommy is so looking forward to dressing them the same. They just born, and she hears you talking, and she's thinking, oh, man, I want to do that, but maybe it's not good for them. What would you say to that?
Well, first of all, I'd say she has to get my first book, which addresses this situation completely. And secondly, it's not a good thing because all those things that seem so cute when they're little, the dressing the same, the alliterative names, all the adorable pictures of them kissing and holding hands, it's cute for a while. But as you said in your introduction, when they're older, they want to have their own name, their own sense of being known. It's not so cute anymore.
Is there a difference, and as a psychotherapist, you've probably observed this a lot, a difference in the behavior of twins because they're twins, if they're identical versus the non-identical twins?
Well, non-identical or fraternal, they have a little bit less of some of the issues the identical have, but they still do have these other issues, which is sort of like this kind of hidden competition between the two of them, being known as twins, which is kind of this empty star status, and dealing with having their own identity. They still have some of the same problems, but maybe a little bit less intensely.
What does your twin do for a living?
My twin, of course, her name is Jane, and she lives close by, and she has her PhD in art history. So we always like to joke that I like the history of people and she likes the history of art.
Okay. Well, that works together, doesn't it? I mean, art captures history of people. Right?
Do you also address the issues of twins that are sister and brother?
I don't in the book, just because to me, when you're a boy and a girl, your gender, in a sense, defines you pretty much according to sort of cultural norms. And so it's easier to be a boy and a girl, a twin, and grow up and still be known, and people can distinguish you. But the funny thing is, this happens often. Moms of twins, boy and girl twins, tell me that people will come by and they go, "Oh, are they identical?" People seem to have a hard time understanding that a boy and a girl are fraternal twins and not identical.
I had, growing up in my class, we had two sets of twins. One was identical twins, Kathy and Kristen, and they really looked the same. They enjoyed the same of everything. And then there was another set, Valerie and Veronica. Valerie was more athletic. Veronica was more demure, but it just seemed they each had found their separate identities.
Well, it's interesting. I don't know if those are identities or labels.
Oh.
Because parents have to label their children, unfortunately, especially with identicals, in order to have people differentiate one from the other. But the problem with that is that the labels stick, and the kid ends up kind of growing into that label rather than having the freedom to kind of grow into whoever he or she might be. So that's a problem, but it's completely common what you just said, because people are trying to figure out who's who, so they give them a label, but that's not always great.
So as a twin who has twins, your perspective of how to raise twins would be different than most other people who are not a twin themselves. Is that accurate?
Well, given how much Jane and I got messed up in our growing up, I decided when I found out I was having twins, I thought, oh no. And then I thought, oh, they're going to be boys and they're going to be fraternal. So that gave me a way to completely reparent them. So what I did was, we never told them who was older until they were 13. We took them out alone all the time separately, but as soon as they could understand, I told them they were not going to the same college.
Oh, gosh.
So how old are your children?
25.
Oh, okay. And do they have children of their own yet? Are you a grandma?
Oh God, no, not yet. No. We have 5 children, and the twins were the last one. So my dog is my transitional granddaughter until I'm a grandmother.
Okay.
Did you and your sister age the same physically?
Oh, well, who do you want to talk to, Jane or me?
I mean, when once you're a twin, is the physical characteristics the same forever?
Well, it's a great question, because, people do age differently according to their lifestyle and their environment. But the greatest new stuff in science now is called epigenetics. And it's all based on the study of identical twins, trying to find out, why does one twin have bipolar disease? Why does one get cancer? Why does one get epilepsy and the other one doesn't if they're identical? And it's a whole study of certain cells getting turned on and getting turned off. So twins do age differently and get different things to happen to them just because of epigenetic changes. It's fascinating.
Oh, that is fascinating. And what about the psychological things? Was it Bewitched, or one of those shows, the naughty twin sister or whatever?
Oh, yeah, Serena.
Yeah. I mean, did you guys get that? Did you get the questions from people say, which one of you is the good one?
Yeah, which is the evil twin and which is the good twin, right?
Yeah, right.
No, because Jane and I were such good girls until we went away to college, and then we both became a little bit evil because we both were able to separate.
Oh, that's funny.
Did you like to pretend you were each other when you were young?
Well, we didn't. Well, it was hard for us to even figure out who we were. But after, we didn't have to pretend. Everyone else was pretending that we didn't know. They didn't know who we were.
Oh.
So we would switch classes. But the funniest story was, my mother dressed us the same until we were 10 and we rebelled. And then my mom took us to get a haircut, and Jane showed me that the hairstylist cut my hair off so short. She ran out of the salon, refused to have her hair cut, and people by that point could tell who was who.
Oh, yeah.
Joan, Dr. Friedman, let me ask you something. If you could retell or just tell a snippet of a story. There was a story in the book about a couple. I guess the guy married a woman, and she had a twin, and they bought a duplex together. And one sister lived on one side, the one he married, and with her, he lived with her.
Yes.
Tell that story, and that's a fascinating story. It sounds like he was in a mess.
Well, he could have been in a potential mess, but I think the twin sisters really kind of knew how to handle it. So that these twins they're very close. They still are. They live in duplexes. They're both married, but both husbands in many ways feel left out because the twins' relationship to each other is the most important. You know, one of the husbands walked into the room and saw that his wife had a screensaver, and there were pictures of she and her sister on the screensaver, and he said, "How do I fit in?" And it is a challenge because oftentimes when twins marry, they say to the significant other, "You're marrying two people. You're marrying a package, and you need to know that." And so a person has to say, you know what, if he has to be okay with the relationship being a very tight one. I worked with a woman who was engaged to a twin. They was going to get married. Then his identical twin brother moved back into town, and she could not tolerate their relationship, and she decided not to marry him because she didn't want to be the third person left out. So all sorts of things, you have to make compromises and be aware of what you're getting into.
In the Bee Gees, the three guys, the three brothers in the Bee Gees, two of them were fraternal twins, right? They did not look like each other, right?
Right.
And when and I don't know if you know the Bee Gees that well, and I don't know them that well, but when the first one died, I can't remember the first
Maurice.
one. Maurice died, thank you.
And Robin and Barry, right?
Yeah,
So
Maurice and Robin were the twins, right?
Yeah.
So when Maurice died, Robin was more devastated, I think, than Barry. I don't know if that makes sense, but it looked like it as an onlooker. I mean, I don't know these guys personally,
Yeah.
but it just looked like it from a fan's perspective. And then Robin died, like he had a broken heart or something. Does that sound typical?
You know, the problem is that, or not, that the twins are really they're born married, and they have the closest relationship to each other than to anyone. They're closer to each other than they are to their parents, which poses problems because growing up, they really don't learn to separate from their parents, and they don't learn to separate from their twin. So I've worked with many twins whose twin has died, and they are bereft beyond grief because it's like a part of themselves has died. And while you can see that as wonderful, you also have to see it as unhealthy because they really haven't developed a separate persona or a separate self. It's like the twin died and they died with them.
Yeah.
And it's tragic.
I knew a couple of twin guys that one died, and then one died in a car accident, and then the other died. I don't remember how he died, but I remember thinking, wow, it's interesting how one goes and then the other goes, and anyway, that's probably sad stuff. We don't want to talk about sad stuff, but I guess you know. So is the book in part to teach parents how to prevent that from happening, or do you want it to prevent it? Or is it just biological? You're always going to be close to your twin.
Well, the reason I wrote the book was to kind of out this information for twins, that twins don't have to feel bad or guilty or terrible if they have some, negative or, angry feelings against their twins. When I started to interview twins, they would come in and say to me, "Thank you so much. There's no one I can talk to. People don't understand that even though I love my twin more than anyone in the world, that I still have issues that I need to talk about, but I can't talk to him or her because she would feel I was abandoning her or betraying her." Now, if you think about couples, you can talk to somebody or your husband and wife hopefully about the most intimate details when you're not getting along. And so twins don't have that freedom to do that. And I felt that that was so unfair that I was hoping that the book would facilitate communication between twins and parents who are raising twins. So if parents hear their twins say, I don't get along, I hate my sister, we're not talking right now, instead of feeling like this is the worst thing ever, the parents can go, yeah, well, it's hard sometimes when you're not getting along. Let's see how I can maybe help facilitate the communication. That's why I wrote the book.
Sometimes families have more than one set of twins. They might give birth to 3 sets of twins. How does that affect the relationship of the twins in each set?
Oh, yeah, wow. Yeah.
Oh, I think that's beyond my scope.
That's a little too much.
I wouldn't even attempt to touch that with a 10-foot pole.
You know, Robin and I know a guy. I just thought about him, and I forgot he had a twin. But Robin and I know a guy in this business, in radio, and he has a twin brother. And we know him. We don't really know the twin. And we were invited to participate in one of those Light the Night walks to raise money for cancer research.
Oh, yes.
Okay, and
Yes.
and the twin brother was in charge of that. Mm-hmm. And so we walked up to him, and we were talking to him like we knew him.
Yeah, right. That was weird.
I felt like we knew him because we knew his brother. He looks just like him. He talks just like him.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
And all of a sudden, he's like, "Who are you?"
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's right. You don't know us. It was,
Yeah.
you know what it was like? It was like if you ever meet somebody famous, you know them, but they don't know you.
Yeah.
Well, it's so funny because it still happens to me. I see someone walking toward me, and I know instantly, I have no idea who they are, but they think I'm Jane. Because you can tell, you know what, like someone's going to go, oh, hi!
Yeah, right,
So I
right.
I preempt it by saying, oh, hi, I'm Joan, I'm Jane's twin. I know this happens all the time. Because people are embarrassed, like you're saying, they feel uncomfortable, but twins are used to handling this because it really does happen. I can't believe it still happens to me, but it does.
So the evil one is the one that people meet second. Oh, you're the evil one. You're not the one I know, so you must be the evil one, right?
Exactly right.
How did you get the twins to trust you when you were interviewing them?
Well, that's a great question. You know what they said? They immediately did trust me because I was a twin. And they said that. And they knew that I was going to be able to hear what they were saying without judgment, without criticism. And I don't think that they really could have spoken that openly to someone who wasn't a twin because they would feel that they were being misunderstood. So it's very interesting.
Do you know, I used to play music for colleges, and I would tour from college to college to college. And the reason that's part of this conversation is because a lot of times I wasn't the only entertainer that was entertaining. A lot of times it was a magician. And standing in the wings, and I don't want to blow anybody's trick here. If you're a magician, I apologize. But in standing in the wings, you get to see how a trick is done. And quite often, when the girl disappears on stage and she ends up instantly in the balcony, it's a twin.
Uh-huh.
It's a twin. And so I'm guessing there's a special line of work for twins. I'm guessing there's a what do you call it, a casting call that magicians must make. Hey, did that ever happen for you and your sister, or to you two?
No, because neither of us ever were asked to be a magician's assistant. That's something we definitely missed out on. What a drag!
I'm guessing you get half pay though. That's the only problem.
God, I think it's too late at my age. Too bad.
Oh, don't worry. I think you're doing better as a doctor.
Sometimes people want twins, and then they'll do everything they can to have that artificial insemination to try to do that.
Really?
Are you an advocate for that? How do you feel about that in intentional twinning?
How do you do that?
Well, the thing is that it's wonderful for couples that have struggled so long to have children, especially when the mom is older, because a lot of older moms are waiting to have children and they can't. But I'm certainly not an advocate of implanting 25,000 embryos at one time. I mean, I think that that's outrageous. So the issue is that the good thing is kind of ideas are changing. And now, most people doing this are saying, I'm just going to put in 2 embryos. But a lot of couples who've struggled so long and spent millions of dollars, want more put in because they don't want to go through it again.
Right.
So I can see both sides of the story, but I do think it's so harmful to implant more than 2 because it's a high-risk pregnancy. There's all sorts of things that can go wrong. Twin births have higher rates of problems on preterm birth and so forth. So I see both sides, but I really caution people not to implant more than 2.
Okay,
that's my feeling.
The book is called The Same But Different, How Twins Can Live, Love, and Learn to Be Individuals. It is written by our guest, Dr. Joan A. Friedman, out in Los Angeles, where it's very dry. And on the back of the book, there's a small photograph of you and your sister Jane, but the text next to it does not indicate who is who. So let me see if I can guess right. Okay? You have different hairstyles. Correct. Let's see.
But we go to the same person we go to bleaches it, so we have similar colors.
Okay, so let's see. Because she's in the arts, does that mean she's more artsy or not necessarily?
Not necessarily.
Okay, so you're the one on the left.
Excellent. You did it.
All right.
You know what, Larry? Maybe you're one of those non-twins with ESP.
I was using my logic here. I was saying your sister is the artsy one, so she's got the more like the turquoise color necklace and stuff, and you're more conservative. You got the pearl necklace.
Okay, actually, I'm probably less conservative.
Okay,
you got the right one anyway.
I got the right one anyway. I just didn't analyze just your whatever your personality that was.
That's right.
Oh, that's fun. That's funny.
Was this book sort of therapy for yourself? Were you going through some issues, and then once you started writing the book and doing the research, was anything resolved on a personal basis?
Well, my therapy never ends. It always continues, but it was very therapeutic to write the book. It actually, really opened up a lot of communication for Jane and me that we hadn't really addressed. So it was wonderful, and that's what the hope is, that other people will have the same experience. Yes, it was great.
How did you end up in L.A.? How did you end up out there?
Well, I was born in Detroit, and then my parents moved out here in the 50s, so I've been here a long time.
Oh, okay. So you basically went there as a child.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay. And did the showbiz bug ever bite you living there and being a young person out there?
No, in fact, doing all this PR for the book has put me in the showbiz light, and it's terrifying. I never wanted to do any of this. And one of the reasons is because when Jane and I were little, there were no twins, no IVF. So we were always getting attention. People were always going, oh, the Friedman twins, and I hated getting all that attention. It drove me insane. So now I have to try to get attention to promote this book, and it's still driving me insane. That's why I'm still in therapy. I'm trying to work the whole thing out.
So what is your theory behind every once in a while you'll hear a story about twins that are separated for some reason and they don't know about each other, and then when they do find each other, it turns out they like the same things, they like the same food, they marry the same kind of a woman or man, whatever.
Yeah.
What is your theory? Why does that happen?
Well, I think it happens because biologically there's a lot of stuff that's hardwired for twins, with identical twins. But, how would you, if you live with somebody 24/7, right, you don't get to choose your twin, you're born with that twin. Just think if you never met them and never had to live with them and finally you're reunited, wouldn't you love that person?
Yeah.
After not having had to deal with them all those years? So that's how I'm looking at it.
Oh, wow. Well, you're a joy to talk to. Is your sister as talkative as you?
Absolutely not.
No.
She finds me at times overbearing and intrusive and too extroverted. And it's so funny, when we went to college, we'd never been separated until we went to college, and we replicated our twin relationship. So I found, and I was always the caretaker twin, and so I found somebody who was shy and introverted, and Jane found somebody just like me who was bossy and annoying and extroverted. And then we started the whole thing over again.
Oh, that's funny.
Do you think personalities are formed when you're still in the womb? Because I really believe that you can hear what's going on outside the mom's body and everything. And do you think the personalities develop while you're there?
Well, I think the temperaments develop. I don't know the difference between temperament and personality, but certainly every baby's born with a certain temperament. Mm-hmm. And then I think how their baby's parented and the environment, that really sort of figures out what their personality is going to be like. But that's such a good comment, because if you think about babies' temperaments and personalities and twins, and how each twin's personality and temperament influence one another. And so it's really that lack of space that twins have to really develop it freely, because they're always kind of in tandem. They're always compared, they're competitive, and they sort of don't have the freedom to be on their own like a single kid does. So it's very interesting.
I have a copy of the book, and I'd like to give it away right now. If you'd like it, give me a call at 622-9622. Again, the title is The Same But Different. It's written by Dr. Joan A. Friedman, and the subtitle is How Twins Can Live, Love, and Learn to Be Individuals. If you want the book, call me. I'll leave it here for you. The rest of us have to go buy it. Doctor, where do we get it? And do you have a website?
Yes, the website is www.joanafriedman, F-R-I-E-D-M-A-N, PhD.com, and you can also buy it on Amazon and Barnes & Nobles. So there it is.
All right.
And
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, I just wanted to thank you. It was so delightful to talk to you both. Thank you so much.
Thank you. What a great interview. And you're a joy to talk to, Doctor. Thank you so much for being on the air with us today.
All right. I hope you stay dry from the rain. Take care.
All right. Thank you. We'll take a little break.
Bye.
We'll be right back.
Habitat for Humanity of Marion County is a ministry dedicated to improving lives by providing affordable and decent housing. Help them help others by visiting the Habitat for Humanity Ocala Restore at 926